I saved $6,400 by not commuting last year. I spent $7,900 more in tracked costs before you even price in the career risk. That's not a typo. Working from home cost me $1,500 more than going to an office would have. And the part that really stings? I didn't notice it happening. The money just left, quietly, in small amounts, while I sat at my kitchen table feeling like I was getting away with something. Every time I skipped the commute, I felt like I was winning. Every time I made coffee at home instead of buying it, I felt smart. Every time I ate lunch from my own refrigerator, I congratulated myself on being financially responsible. Meanwhile, my credit card statement was telling a completely different story. I went through every expense from the past 12 months, utilities, equipment, food, subscriptions, delivery orders, everything, and built a full cost comparison between my work-from-home year and my last full year in the office. The results broke something in my brain, not because the numbers were shocking, but because I'd been so confident I was saving money while actively spending more. I'm Kai. I make videos about money traps disguised as smart decisions. If you've ever told yourself, "At least I'm saving on gas," while your Amazon cart fills up in the background, this one's for you. Let me start with the savings everyone talks about. The commute. That's the headline number. That's what everyone calculates when they think about working from home. My old commute was 42 miles round trip, 5 days a week. Gas, wear and tear, parking. It added up to about $385 a month. Throw in the lunches I bought near the office 3 times a week and the coffee I grabbed on the way in most mornings, and I was spending roughly $6,400 a year just to show up. That's a big number. It's the number everyone focuses on. It's the number that makes working from home feel like an obvious win. When I started working from home, I saw that number disappear from my expenses, and I felt rich. I felt like I'd gotten a $6,000 raise without doing anything. But here's what I didn't track. The costs didn't disappear. They moved. They scattered into 100 different line items that didn't look like work expenses because they happened at home. Let me show you where the money actually went. Cost number 1, the home office. When I started working from home, I was at my kitchen table. Laptop open, coffee beside me, feeling like I'd figured out the system. That setup lasted about 3 weeks before my back started hurting. My neck felt like it was on fire, and I realized that dining chairs are not designed for 8-hour workdays. So I bought a desk. $240. I told myself it was an investment. I told myself I'd use it for years. Then I needed a chair that wouldn't destroy my spine. I went cheap at first, $80 for something that looked like an office chair, but was really just plastic and wishful thinking. That chair lasted 4 months before the cushion flattened completely and I was back to hurting. So I bought a real office chair. $320. Monitor. My laptop screen was too small for 8 hours of spreadsheets and Zoom calls. I was squinting, leaning forward, making my posture worse. $180. Keyboard and mouse, because the laptop keyboard was giving me wrist pain that I convinced myself wasn't carpal tunnel. $75. A desk lamp, because the lighting in my apartment wasn't designed for video calls and I looked like I was broadcasting from a dungeon. $35. A webcam, because the built-in laptop camera made me look like a ghost in a cave and my manager made a comment about it. $60. Headphones with a decent microphone for calls, because the echo from my laptop speakers was distracting to other participants. $90. A second monitor, because once you have one external monitor, you realize how much faster you'd be with 2. And at that point, what's another $220? You're already in this deep. Cable management stuff, a power strip, a laptop stand, another $50 in small purchases that added up. Home office total, year one, $1,330. Now I know what you're thinking. Those are one-time costs. They don't recur. And that's true, mostly. But I've also replaced the chair cushion once, bought a new webcam when the first one died, and upgraded my headphones when the microphone started cutting out during important calls. Figure another $200 a year in maintenance and upgrades, minimum. And here's the thing nobody mentions. I never would have bought any of this if I worked in an office. The company provided the desk, the chair, the monitors, the equipment. That was their expense, built into their overhead, invisible to me. Working from home transferred those costs from my employer's balance sheet to mine. They didn't eliminate the expense. They just changed who pays. And I accepted it because I thought I was getting a good deal. Cost number 2. Utilities. This one sneaks up on you because you're already paying for electricity, internet, and climate control. You don't notice the increase because it's not a new bill. It's just a bigger version of your existing bill. But I noticed when I finally looked. My electricity bill went up an average of $47 a month. Running a computer, monitors, and lights for 8 to 10 hours a day adds up, especially in summer when the AC has to fight against all the extra heat my equipment generates. $47 a month, $564 a year, internet. I had to upgrade my plan because my old one couldn't handle video calls while my roommate was also online. The upgrade cost $25 more per month, $300 a year. For bandwidth, I only needed because I was working from home. Heating in winter. I used to leave my apartment cold during the day because nobody was home. Thermostat at 62 degrees from 8 to 6. Now someone's home, me, and I'm not going to sit in a 62-degree apartment for 8 hours while trying to focus on spreadsheets. My heating bill went up about $38 a month during the cold months. Call it an extra $190 for the winter season. Utilities total. Approximately $1,054 a year more than when I went to an office. The office kept me warm in winter, cool in summer, and connected to fast internet. I never thought about it because I never saw the bill. Now I see it every month. Cost number 3. Food. This is the one that really got me because I thought I was saving money here. I wasn't buying $14 lunches anymore. I was eating at home. Cheaper, right? Except I started buying more groceries. A lot more groceries. Because when you're home all day, you eat differently. You snack more. You buy nicer ingredients because you have time to actually cook. My grocery bill went up about $120 a month, $1,440 a year. But that's not all. I also started ordering delivery more often. Not for every meal, but when you're in back-to-back meetings and you can't step away to cook, delivery feels like the only option. Once a week on average. Call it $22 with tip and fees. Delivery, approximately $95 a month, $1,140 a year. And coffee. I thought I'd save money making coffee at home. And I do make coffee at home, but I also started buying better coffee. Whole beans, a grinder, an upgrade to my coffee maker because the old one wasn't cutting it anymore. Plus, the occasional coffee shop run just to get out of the house. Coffee equipment and supplies, approximately $40 a month more than I used to spend, $480 a year. Food total, $3,060 a year, almost $1,000 more than the lunches and coffees I was saving by not going to an office. The lunches were visible. The groceries, delivery, and coffee upgrades were invisible. Cost number 4. paying to recreate what used to be free. This is where the invisible costs compound. When you work from home, you start paying for things that the office used to provide. Not just equipment, but environment, stimulation, and human contact. First, there's the "I'm home anyway" spending. You're always available for deliveries. You're always there to receive packages. Ordering is frictionless, so you order more. A better router because Wi-Fi was slow, $120. Organizational stuff for my workspace that I kept optimizing, probably $200 over the year. Plants because the space felt sterile, $60. A white noise machine because the neighbor's dog was breaking my concentration, $40. These purchases felt justified in the moment. I'm home all day. Of course I should make my environment better, but they added up to $420 in stuff I never would have bought if I left the house for work. Then there's the subscription creep. When you're home alone staring at a screen all day, entertainment starts feeling like a necessity, not a luxury. I added 2 streaming services I didn't have before, $26 a month, $312 a year, background noise for the silence. And then there's the social replacement cost, the one nobody talks about, because it feels embarrassing to admit out loud. When you work in an office, socializing is built into your day. Water cooler conversations, lunch with coworkers, small talk in the elevator. Human contact that doesn't cost anything because it happens at work, as a natural byproduct of showing up. When you work from home, all of that vanishes. And if you're a person who needs human contact, most of us are, even the ones who think they don't, you start paying to replace what used to be free. Coffee shops just to be around people, not to work, just to hear other voices. $50 a month, $600 a year. More happy hours and dinners because I was starved for interaction. Before, I'd skip these because I'd already socialized at work all day. Now they felt essential. An extra $40 a month, $480 a year. And for 3 months, I tried a co-working space because the isolation was genuinely affecting my mental health. I wasn't just lonely. I was starting to feel weird. Disconnected, like I'd forgotten how to have a normal conversation. $150 a month for a desk in a shared space. $450 total. And I only lasted 3 months before deciding I couldn't justify the recurring cost. Environment, entertainment, and human contact. $2,262 a year. I was paying to recreate what the office gave me for free, and I still wasn't getting enough of it. Cost number 5, the career tax. This one doesn't have a receipt, but it might be the most expensive cost of all. When you work from home, you're invisible. You're not in the room when decisions get made. You're not in the hallway when someone mentions an opportunity. You're not top of mind when promotions come up. You're a name on a screen, a face in a box, easy to forget when you're not physically there. I watched 2 colleagues get promoted last year. Both were in the office more than me. Both had more face time with leadership. I'm not claiming I deserved those promotions. They worked hard and earned them. But I also know I wasn't in the conversation. Because I wasn't in the building. Here's the math nobody does. Even a 1-year delay on a $10,000 raise costs you $10,000, and raises compound. A promotion you get at 32 instead of 31 affects every paycheck for the rest of your career. That's not just $10,000 lost once. That's $10,000 times every year you keep working. WFH doesn't guarantee you'll be passed over, but it increases the risk of stagnation, and that risk has a price, even if it never shows up on a receipt. Let me add it all up. Home office setup and maintenance, $1,530. Utilities increase, $1,054. Food, groceries, delivery, coffee, $3,060. Environment, entertainment, and social replacement, $2,262. Career tax, unquantified, but real total additional costs from working from home, approximately $7,900. Commute and office-related savings, $6,400. Net cost of working from home, $1,500 more than going to the office, and I spent the whole year thinking I was saving money. Because once the commute disappears, your baseline resets. Your spending alarm recalibrates to a quieter level. You stop noticing increases because they don't feel like increases. They feel normal. That's how you overspend without ever feeling reckless. That's how you lose money while feeling like you're winning. If your commute vanished tomorrow, would you actually save the money? Or would it just leak out in quieter ways, scattered across a dozen expenses you never think to add up? Here's what I do differently now. First, I track everything separately. I have a category in my budget called WFH costs, and everything that exists because I work from home goes there. The moment I started tracking it, the spending became visible, and visible spending is easier to control. Second, I stopped assuming home meals are cheaper. They're not automatically. I meal prep now. I batch cook. I stop treating every lunch as a cooking project. The goal is efficiency, not entertainment. Third, I set boundaries on optimization purchases. If I've survived this long without it, I can wait 30 days before buying it. Most of the time, the urge passes. Fourth, I go to the office when it matters. I'm not full-time in office, but I show up for the meetings that matter. I make sure I'm visible when decisions are being made. I stopped treating remote work as an excuse to disappear. Fifth, I budget for social spending intentionally instead of letting it happen reactively. I know I need human contact, so I plan for it instead of panic spending when the isolation gets bad. Here's the rule I wish I'd understood from the start. Working from home doesn't save you money. It shifts the costs from visible categories you track to invisible categories you don't. The commute disappears from your budget, but the utilities, the equipment, the food, the isolation, and the career friction all take its place, scattered across a dozen line items that don't feel like work expenses because they happen at home. The savings are obvious. Everyone calculates those. The commute cost is easy to see because it goes away completely. The costs are hidden. Nobody tracks those. They're mixed in with your grocery bill, your Amazon orders, your electricity, your social life. They don't announce themselves. They just accumulate. And if you don't track both sides, you'll spend a year feeling rich while your bank account tells a completely different story. I saved $6,400 by not commuting. I spent $7,900 making my home an office, my kitchen a cafeteria, and my social life something I had to pay for. The net cost of working from home, $1,500 more than going to the office. That's the real number. That's the math nobody does. If this breakdown changed how you think about remote work, subscribe. I make videos about the money traps that feel smart until you see the full picture. The commute is gone, but the costs never left. They just got quieter. I thought staying home was saving me money. It was just lowering the volume on my spending. And that's how I lost $1,500 without ever feeling irresponsible.